Hello student, please tell me, am I audible? Abdul Ibrahim, please tell me, am I audible? Hello, hello. Okay, okay. So today we're gonna do the fourth block, the second last block of this subject, and it is related to communication, motivation, and leadership. All right, and as I think of, we have done so much about communication. We have done so much about communication in BCOLA 138 subject, business communication subject. It was all about communication only. So from here, we just get a brief about communication and coordination in business. All right. And before starting the lesson, let me tell you one thing. Let me inform you that according to the schedule, this is the last class of this subject, but it is not. It is second last class. So that means you have to come next Saturday as well. You have to attend the class next Saturday and next Thursday for the respective classes on the same time. Am I clear? There will be,
Yes, ma.
okay. There will be class on next Thursday and Saturday, respectively, with same subject. And on Thursday, especially on Thursday, we will be taking financial accounting. We will be taking financial accounting, okay? Because we have completed the syllabus of business communication in our last class. So we will be taking financial communication on next Thursday, as I informed you in our last class to inform other student as well. Now also I'm telling, please inform other student about this as well. All right, let's start the lesson. So communication. Who's going to tell me about communication? Yes, we have so much information right now about communication. You can take initiative to explain it a little. Alita, please.
Yes,
Alita,
ma.
please tell me about communication.
The defi- You mean the definition, ma?
Not the definition, just the explanation. I'm not asking for a perfect definition from specific person.
Okay. So communication is the exchanging of information
Oh,
between two or more people. It can be formal
all
or
right.
informal.
Okay. Sharing of information and or information, facts, and talks and feelings, emotions, and other things as well. So communication is an important aspect of the directing function of management as supervision, motivation, and leadership. All these things are done via the help of communication only. You, being a manager, supervise your subordinates with the help of communication. You motivate your colleagues and your subordinates with the help of communication only. And you, being a manager or being a leader, direct your team with the help of communication only. So communication is an important aspect of directing function of management. Now coming to the nature and characteristics of communication. Nature and characteristics of communication. Start reading it from here. It is a cooperative process involving two parties because it's a two-way process. It is a two-way process. One who transmits and one who receives the message. Okay. The respective party to communicate must have the ability to convey and listen to what his counterpart has to communicate. Communication includes sending the message as well as receiving the reaction or response to the message, and therefore is a two-way traffic. I don't think so I need to explain all these points now, because we have done communication in so deep in our different subject in business communication. So just relate it from there. The message to be communicated may be conveyed verbally, in writing, by means of signs, gestures, or symbols. We can do communication with the help of language, with the help of sign language, like gestures and other things. The purpose of communication is that of passing information and understanding to bring about commonness of purpose, interest, and efforts. So these are some characteristics of communication. We are straight following the process of communication. The process of communication. The first step in the process of communication is clear perception or idea or problem. So before commencing the communication, one needs to have a fact or a clear perception of the idea or about, if it is related to a problem, then that person needs to aware about that problem. Participation of others involved. Participation of others involved. The next step is to secure the participation of other person in the decision to communicate a message. The third, transmission of message. Now we are transmitting the information we have gathered, means from encoder to decoder, sender to receiver. Motivating the receiver of the message. Motivating the receiver of the message. The communicator cannot depend on the message alone to get an appropriate response from the receiver. He must ensure that the receiver of the message is not only able to interpret the message correctly but is also prepared to act accordingly to it, because communication follows a cycle, and the cycle only completes when the receiver responds to the sender. Evaluation of the effectiveness of communication. Now, the elements in the communication process. Communicator means the sender. Then that sender encode that message, means write that message in a known language. Okay. Then sends the message using a media or medium like phone, like verbal language. Then the person receives and decode the message. What sender is trying to say, the receiver will decode it. And then receiver will provide a feedback to the sender, and this cycle goes on and on. Channels of communication. Channels of communication based on relationships, formal or informal. Formal communication means when a subordinate and manager communicate in an organization, then that process or that communication is known as a formal communication. Means if a CEO of a company and the assistant manager of that company or the personal assistant of CEO is talking about sharing some stuff, then that communication is known as formal communication. Informal communication means when two person of the same organization is not talking about the organization stuff, or they are doing talk about something else than the organization, as something else than their work, then that thing is known as informal communication. Based on direction of flow. Based on direction of flow. Vertical communication, horizontal communication, and diagonal communication. So, vertical communication. Vertical communication holds two types of communication, downward communication and upward communication. Downward communication, whereas, stands for when the higher authorities try to convey a message to the lower authorities. Suppose the manager of a company tries to convey a message to the laborers of that company, of the production unit, then that thing is known as downward communication. And if we think about the opposite of that thing, then when the labor unit of production labor is trying to send a message to the production manager, so in that case it is known as upward communication. And these are both the part of vertical communication, because here we see this vertical line of communication. I guess it is clear. Is it clear till here?
Yes, ma.
Okay. Coming to the horizontal communication, when two subordinate of same unit, okay, of same post try to talk each other, then that is known as horizontal communication. Now suppose the production manager is talking to the finance manager, so they both have a common post and they are talking about some stuff, so that thing is known as horizontal communication. Communication takes place directly between two persons having equal ranks in the managerial hierarchy, or between two subordinates under the same manager, is called horizontal communication or lateral communication. Lateral communication is the another name of horizontal communication. Third one is the diagonal communication. Third one is the diagonal communication. So in this type of communication implies exchange of information between person who are in position at a different level of hierarchy and also in different departments. Suppose production manager, and here we have the finance manager, and we have the employees of finance manager here, and this is the production manager. Now production manager directly talking to the employees of finance department, so that thing here you can see a diagonal is making you, a diagonal is creating, so that is known as diagonal communication. Here we form a diagonal, so it is known as a diagonal communication. Based on method used: verbal communication, written communication, and gesture. Verbal communication: when the messages are transmitted orally, it is called as verbal communication. It needs a language, proper language. Okay. And the written communication also needs a proper language. Now you need a proper language or the sign language, we can write it, because we read or we communicate through the signboards as well. So it is also a part of written communication. In a formal organization, written communication is the most important media for conveying ideas, information, etc. In every such organization, one comes across a variety of orders, instructions, reports, bulletins, servings as the basis of communication, like the sending letters to the employees, sending letters to the clients. So, communication or written communication is most in any kind of organization. Gestural communication. Gestural communication. Communication through gestures is often used as a mean to make verbal or written communication more effective. Like when we wave our hand to someone, then that means we are saying bye or hi to that person. So it is a gestural communication. One has only to attend meeting addressed by a trade union leader to see how he uses different gestures by hands, movement of eyes to make his point. If sometimes the superior pats his subordinate on his back, it will be considered as an appreciation for his work. This will in turn increase the efficiency of subordinate and motivates that subordinate too. Importance of communication. Wait a minute. Yes, the importance of communication. So, what are the importance of communication in your language? Anyone would like to try to explain the importance of communication? Yes, I'm listening. Please give me one importance of communication. Speak clearly. Okay, okay, okay. So, yes, the adequate and timely communication is necessary for the managerial function of planning, organizing, directing, and controlling to be carried out successfully. So, adequate and timely communication is necessary. The communication you do after a situation is not so effective. You need to do communication on adequate time, okay, on a proper time. It is not worth it if you are motivating your subordinate or the team members after the result after the result of your goal. So it's not a kind of motivation. They do not need a motivation, but before when they were doing work, they needed that type of motivation. So adequate and timely communication is necessary. You need to know where to do communication and what type of communication is needed to at that time. Effective communication contributes a great deal to higher efficiency in job performance. The quality of decision made in an organization depends largely on the amount and the quality of information available to the decision maker. Communication is the means by which delegation and decentralization of authority is accomplished in an organization. Means who have the authority and responsibility to which extent. Coordination of interdependent activities requires communication to flow horizontally as well as through the all level of authority. The effectiveness of communication also helps in molding attitudes and building up employees' morale. Barriers to effective communication. Multiplicity of organizational layers is the first barrier to the effective communication. As the structure of an organization often causes messages to be distorted, stopped, or absorbed, particularly when there are many layers or levels in the hierarchy. In upward communication, in upward communication, the message tends to distorted as it passes through the immediate levels. So information may be withheld at a particular level or passed on with changes. So multiplicity of organizational layer is the barrier in the effective communication. Language barrier. Not every person knows each and every language. No one, even no one knows each and every language of this world. So, language can be a barrier in your organization. Status barrier. Status relationship in an organization also be serious obstacle to effective communication. People placed in superior and subordinate position have differences in status on account of their respective ranks in the hierarchy. It is due to the status difference that subordinates often suppress or withhold the information which may not be liked by their superiors. Physical distance as a barrier. In large organization, the physical distance between sender and the receiver of the message may become an obstacle to be effective communication. This is because it is difficult to evaluate whether the receiver has understood, accepted, or acted on the message sent to him. So it is a barrier. Emotional and psychological barriers. When people have strong attitudes and feeling, they are emotionally affected by the message received, which do not conform to their attitudes. Principles of communication. Principles of communication. The first principle is that whatever you are communicating, it must be in a systematic manner. Whatever information you are transmitting to someone else, then it must be in a systematic manner. It should not be like you are telling the end story or the end part of the information first and telling the first part of the information at last. The meaning and intention of communication is conveyed not by words alone. The timing, physical setting, and the organizational climates are important determinants of the success of communication. Consultation with others may be appropriately made in planning communication so as to gain additional insight and objectivity to the message and objectivity to the message. Whenever possible, message should convey something of value to the receiver in the light of his interest and needs. Means whatever message you are transmitting in an organization, it must hold some value. It must hold some value. We should not speak. We should not speak the information, or we should not tell the things which doesn't value to the organization or which doesn't benefit to the organization. Communication have greater chances of being effective when followed up by encouraging the receiver to express his reaction or by review of performance and ensuring a feedback. If you are a manager and you trying to transmit any information to your subordinates, then you should give a platform to your subordinate as well to respond to you, to give you a feedback of your speech or what they are thinking about that information. So it must be a two-way process. How to make communication effective? Regulating the flow of communication. Regulating the flow of communication. Planning communication should involve determining the priority of message to be communicated so that the managers may concentrate on more important message of high priority. Otherwise, there is a possibility of managers being overloaded with the task of communication. Feedback. Along with each communication, there is need for feedback, that is communication of the response or reaction of initial message. Language of message. Language of message. Use of appropriate language is essential for effective communication. While preparing the message, its sender must keep in view the climate as well as the ability of receiver to interpret the message accurately. Importance of listening carefully. If you are the subordinate and your manager is trying to say something to you, then you need to listen it carefully and receive it and understand it, interpret what they're trying to say. Restrain over emotions. In a formal setting, one needs to restrain their emotion, their feelings. So, strong feelings and emotional stress on the part of either the sender or receiver of message are serious handicaps in the communication process. To avoid any impact of emotion on the content of message, the sender may defer the communication for some time or consult to exercise restraint over his psychological feelings to avoid misinterpreting of the message. Non-verbal signals of compliance. Verbal messages are generally accepted orally by the receiver. But whether action will follow the acceptance of the message is not certain. It is therefore suggested that in case of verbal communication, the sender should observe the action of the receiver to ascertain whether the action are in conformity with the intent of understanding the message. Mutual trust and faith. No amount of seriousness of the parties involved can make the process communication effective unless there is mutual trust and faith between them. Means there must be a mutual faith and trust between the sender and receiver of the message. Coordination. We have completed the communication part. Now we have come to the coordination part. So coordination means a harmony, a brotherhood feeling. Okay, when two person coordinate with each other with harmony and try to complete a task with the help of each other, that thing is known as coordination. Means keeping harmony. In an enterprise, a manager must also direct the activities of the group in such manner that it brings harmonious and united action to the common goal. achieve the common goal. Here we have the definition of coordination. Coordination refers to the orderly arrangement of individual and group effort to ensure unity of action in the realization of common objective. Unity of action in the realization of common objective. Coordination is balancing and keeping together the team by ensuring suitable allocation of tasks to the various members and seeing that the tasks are performed with the harmony among the members themselves. So coordination keeps some points in it. First one is harmonization of group efforts. Harmonization of group efforts. Think it like that. In production unit, if we are in a textile industry, means creating clothes, then in that unit, one person is weaving the clothes, the second one is dyeing the clothes, the third one is putting or buttoning the clothes, the fourth one is pressing the clothes, and the fifth one is packaging the clothes. So in that unit there must be a harmony. If one person doesn't do their activity, then other will suffer. So they must do work with the harmony, and their action will collectively known as an activity, which is production activity. So it is a task, a harmonization of group efforts, unity of action. Each individual in the organization performs certain unique and different type of tasks. He is not only related with others in the organization, but his function also affects others' function. A manager tries to synchronize individual efforts to attain unity of effort. Pursuit of Pursuit of common purpose. Each employee has goal, perception, and values, beliefs, attitude, etc., and makes every effort to achieve his own goals. When individual and group work for achieving their objectives, they also contribute something for the achievement of organizational goals. Continuous process. Coordination is not one short deal but a continuous process. It starts with the very first action in the process of establishment of business. Responsibility. It should be noted here that the coordination is the most important responsibility of every manager in an organization, as he tries to synchronize the effort of his subordinate with the others. Objectives of coordination. Reconciliation of goals. The first objective is reconciliation of goals. Conflicts in an organization arise because of differences between organizational goals and individual goals, and the individualistic perception of goals. So, the first thing or the objective of coordination is reconciliation of the goals. Total accomplishment of goal. Although individuals are firmly committed to for the achievement of organizational goals, individual contribution to work brings about total accomplishment, which is an excess of aggregate of the individual contribution. This is realized through the establishment of reporting system and clear-cut spelling out of business objectives. Harmonious relationship. When we avoid all the conflicts in the organization or in our team members, then we are building a harmonious relationship among our team members. Economy and efficiency. Coordination aims at bring about economy and efficiency of operation through synchronization of activities and individual efforts, thereby wastage of resources is minimized. There is saving of time and expense. Reduced rejection and minimum delays in the execution lead to efficiency in the operation of an organization. Now think it like that: if two team members from the same units have conflicts between them, and their work is depend on each other, then it will create a hindrance. A hindrance of time means you won't be able to produce your goods on time. And if separate in a separate team, if two-person or any other team members are working with coordination with a harmonious nature, then in that case their work will be efficient and on time, means effective too. So that's the difference, and that is the importance of coordination in an organization. Is it clear till here? So we can move to the next unit.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Motivation. Just wait a minute. Wait a minute. Motivation. What is motivation according to you? motivation at a given period of time, okay, at any level or at any place in their life. So motivation is important for us to move on, for us to keep going in life. So before moving to the nature, let's read the concept of motivation. What motivation really is. Started from here. Motivation refers to the way in which urges, drives, desires, aspirations, striving, or needs direct control or explain the behavior of human being. Explain the behavior of human being. Basically, motivation directs us to behave in a specific way, to behave in a right way. Motivation directs us. It derives us to behave in a specific way. The term motivation is derived from the word motive, and motive may be defined as needs, wants, drives, or impulses within the individual. Motives are expression of a person need, hence they are personal and internal. They are personal and internal. In this context, the term need should not be associated with the urgency or any pressing desire for something. Motives or needs of a person are starting point in the motivation process. Means one must have one goal, one need, that thing must be achieved by that individual. And if we stop in walking toward that goal, then the motivation, the person who motivates us, is try to give us the direction or show us the path so that we can move further toward our direction, toward our goal. Nature of motivation. Motives are energizing forces within us. Motives are energizing forces within us. These forces are invisible and it is very difficult to measure them because all of us are different and the motives energizing us at a point differ from time to time. You know that some days you feel very low and you do not have energy to do any kind of work, and someday you feel internally motivated to do all your chores, all your works of that day. So that's what it is about. It is an internal feeling. One motive may result in many different behaviors. One motives may result in many different behaviors. The desire for prestige may lead a person to run for political office, give money away, get additional educational training, steal, join groups, or may change his outward appearance. A person wanting acceptance will behave differently in a car, pool, office, secretarial pool, or swimming pool. So that's how one motive may result in many different behaviors. If food is your motive, think it like that. If food is the motive of a person, so it can run or it can implicate many behaviors. One person will think of earning and then earn their bread. Then earn their bread. But one person will think of stealing. One person will think of stealing. So motive is same for both of them, but their approach to gain it is different. Their behavior is different. The same behavior may result from many different motives. The same behavior may result from many different motives. Behavior may be caused by a number of different motives. For instance, the motives underlying the purchase of a car motives underlying the purchase of a car may be to appear younger and attractive, to appear respectable, to gain acceptance from others, to maintain the acceptance already gained through a similar income level, to satisfy economic values, to reinforce company created status, and others. Behavior can be used as an estimate of an individual's. Behavior can be used as an estimate of an individual's. It is possible to get repeated observation of one individual's behavior and to make an estimate of cause of the behavior. Taking an example, there is a truth in the statement that some people always seem to feel insecure and thus behave continuously in a manner reflecting the insecurity of feeling. There are also people who behave in way that radiates confidence. They are confident in many different social settings so that one finds a constant and repeated behavior from which people probably estimate the motive of the person. So behavior can be used as an estimate of an individual's motive. Motives may operate in harmony or in conflict. Your behavior, your motives can operate in harmony or in conflict. Directly taking the example, a girl may want to get high grades in school while also wanting to help her mother in the kitchen. Okay. An athlete may desire an outstanding performance and may also be sensitive to being shunned by his fellow teammates if he performs too well and receives too much of credit. So it is creating a conflict between the mind. Motives can go, motives come and go. It is very rare that a motive has the same energy potential over a long period of time. Some days you feel so motivated and you start thinking from today I will be joining gym, I will do some workouts, some exercises, and you will perform those exercises or those workouts for 3 to 4 days, okay, for continuously for 5 to 6 days, and after a period you stop these things, after a period you stop these things. So motives come and go and motivation comes and go too. So one needed to be motivated toward their goals, and to be that motivated person, one needed a push from other people's as well. Motives interact with environment. The situation at a particular point in time may trigger or suppress the action of a motive. You probably have experienced a situation where you didn't realize the intensity of your hunger needs until your smelling sense picked up the odor of palatable food. Similarly, many of these sociological needs become stimulated when you are in a situation filled with the sociological factors. Now we will see the process of motivation. First thing is behavior or motive. Motive means our need, our desire, our wants, means basically our goal which we want to achieve. That is motive. And then for this to achieve this motive, the behavior or the performance or the activities we perform in our day-to-day life to achieve this motive. And when we do those activities or behave accordingly to achieve the motive, we are slowly or gradually or slowly moving toward our goal. for the achievement of our goal. Then we receive or achieve our goal, the tension of reduction, and again a new motive or a new need will see in person. So it is a cycle because human wants are never ended. Human wants are never ending. Once we achieve one motive or one goal, then we want, being a human, we are thirsty, we have hunger, we want other things as well. As soon as one goal achieved, we set another goal. Role of motivation. Role of motivation. Manager and organizational researcher cannot avoid a concern with the behavior requirement of an organization. Every organization needs people in order to function. Motivation as a concept in pervasive and a highly complex activity that affects and is affected by a host of factors in organizational milieu. Organizational effectiveness become to some degree a question of management's ability to motivate its employee to direct at least a reasonable effort toward the goals of the organization. So it is upon the manager. As technology increases in complexity, machines tend to become necessary, but insufficient vehicles of effective and efficient operations. In other words, it becomes necessary for an organization to ensure that it has employees who are both capable of using and willing to use the advanced technology to achieve the organizational goals. Many organizations are now beginning to pay increasing attention to develop their employees as future resources upon which they can draw as they grow and develop. So these are the roles of motivation. Theories of motivation. Theories of motivation. Out of all theories, one theory of motivation is so important and it is so basic, which is Maslow's need hierarchy theory. Maslow's need hierarchy theory. I guess we have that theory in our syllabus. Yes, here it is. Maslow's need hierarchy theory. That is important. But before doing this, let's get back to the McGregor participation theory. McGregor participation theory. So he formulated two sets of assumptions. These are the theories of motivation. Listen it carefully. That psychologist created or formulated two sets of assumptions about human beings based on the participation of workers. The first set of assumptions are contained in theory X, and the second set of assumptions are contained in theory Y. This is why it is called theory X and Y as well. In the theory X, McGregor proceeds with the assumption that an average human being has inherent dislike for work and will avoid it if he can. The manager of such employees think that most people must be coerced, contributed, directed, or threatened with punishment to get them put forth adequate efforts toward the achievement of the organizational goal. So these are the basic nature of theory X people. They have lack integrity. They avoid, usually people, normal people avoid responsibility. Okay, the people that are in X theory, that are in X part, are not interested in achievement. They are incapable of directing their own behavior. They are indifferent to organizational needs. They prefer to be directed by others. Means you need to tell them what to do. They will do only those stuff which you tell, as being a manager, you tell to do like it. Avoid making decisions whenever possible. They can't take decisions because they are normal human beings and are not very bright. Whatever you tell them, they will just perform their activities without any creativity. And the people in theory X have different nature. They have integrity. They work hard towards objective to which they are committed. They work for their promotion, assumes responsibility within their commitments. They desire to achieve more and more. They are capable of directing their own behavior. They want their organization to succeed. They are not passive and submissive. They will make decisions within their commitments. This is the theory of McGregor. So the assumption of McGregor theory Y suggests a new approach to the management. It lays greater emphasis on the cooperation between management and workers. The managers following this theory aim to getting maximum output with minimum degree of control. Means this theory tells us we need to hire such person who belongs to category Y, and we need to put a less degree of control because it will free the employees and so that they can work harder by themselves, and we do not have to tell them what to do at each and every point. We just need to put some work in front of them and ask them to do. They will do the work by their own approach. We do not need to tell the approach which path to follow to complete that particular work. Appraisal. McGregor's contribution should be analyzed in the proper perspective. All that he postulated and sought the dramatized through his theory X and theory Y is to outline the extremes to draw the fencing within which the organizational or enterprise man is to seen to behave. No enterprise man would belong either to theory X or theory Y. He shared the traits of both with emphasizes shifting from one set of properties to the another, which changing moods and impulses. After the X and Y theory, we comes to the Maslow's need hierarchy theory or Maslow's need priority theory. So Maslow's theory is it says about the five needs of a person. Being an individual, every person have their five needs, and these needs these needs work chronologically. So the first need out of this is the psychological needs. Also, it is known as the basic need of a human being. The basic needs of a human being. What are these? Food, air, water, and shelter. Food, air, water, and shelter. So these are the basic need of any human being. If a person start works, so the first thing he or she will start doing work for food, air, water, and shelter. These are the basic needs. And once a person or individual achieve these physiological needs, then that person will shift to achieve these needs, safety and security needs. It should not be like a person from physiological needs moving straight to the social needs. No, we have the hierarchy. First a person achieve physiological needs, then he goes to the step 2, he will achieve safety and security needs. And these needs are personal security, security of the source of income, provision for old age insurance against risk and other things. After achieving these needs, after accomplishing these needs, that person will shift to the social needs. Means now he needs a recognition, now he needs affection, now he needs or she needs love, affiliation, acceptance in the society, belongingness, and the communication with other members of society. After achieving the social needs, a person moves to the esteem and status need. Esteem and status needs. Status needs. So in this, the first thing is recognition, the fame they want. Fame, recognition, status, self-respect, achievement, prestige, independence, show off. All these things comes from this esteem and status need. Once a person receive these kind of needs, then they will go to the self actualization need. They will go to the self actualization need. And we have very few people who go to the self actualization needs. Mostly the people like monks and prestigious, these person are well aware of the self actualization needs, like self fulfillment, growth, advancement, development, desire to take on increased responsibility, who I am, who an individual is. All these things are included in the self actualization needs. But if we talk about the business organization, then the terms like self fulfillment, growth, advancement, development, desire to take on increased responsibility, liberation of creative talent, all these things comes under the self actualization needs. I hope Maslow's need hierarchy theory is clear to you. Maslow felt that the need have a definite sequence of domination. The second need doesn't dominate until the first is reasonably satisfied. If one person do not have breads to eat, if one person do not have breads, then he will not think about the recognition, status, and the fame. So first a person needed to fulfill these basic needs. You understanding my point? If a person do not have bread to eat, he or she will not think about the recognition and the fame, status in society. First, he will try to achieve or accomplish these basic needs first. That's what Maslow needs hierarchy theory tells us about. Do needs follow a hierarchy? The need priority model may not apply at all times in all places. Surveys in continental European countries and Japan have shown that the model doesn't apply very well to their managers. The degree of satisfaction of need doesn't vary according to the need priority model. For example, workers in Spain and the Belgium felt that their esteem needs are better satisfied than their security and social needs. Apparently, cultural differences are an important cause of these differences. Thus, need hierarchy may not follow the sequence postulated by the Maslow. So it is not a hard and fast rule which Maslow tried to convey here. Even if the safety need is not satisfied, the ego or social need may emerge. After Maslow, the third theory is of Herberg motivation hygiene theory. A significant development in the motivation theory is based on the distinction between motivational and maintenance factor in the job situation. On the basis of his research finding, the Herberg drew a distinction between what he called motivators and the hygiene factors. So he created two factors. First one is hygienic factor and second one is motivational factors. And the need structure is the physiological and primary needs, means the basic needs of a person, and then all other needs like social, physiological, ego, and secondary needs are put it in the second thing. Now coming to the hygiene factor. What factors Herberg maintains and motivational factors have put it in hygiene factors. The first one is company policy and administration, technical supervision, interpersonal relation with supervisor, with peers, with subordinates, salary, job security, personal life, working condition, and status. So these are all hygienic factors. It includes wages, fringe benefits, physical condition, and overall company policies and administration. The presence of these factors at a satisfactory level prevents a job dissatisfaction, but they do not provide motivation to the employees, because the salary doesn't provide motivation to the employees because they are just their breads. Okay, they are doing work for them, they are doing work for it to gain a bread. So these are not a motivation factor for the employees to achieve more. But motivational factors are achievement. If someone is achieving in a company, then that will be a motivating factor to for other employees. Recognition. If you want to become a manager in your organization, then it is a recognition factor, it will motivate you. Advancement, work itself, possibilities of growth, and responsibility, all these factors are motivational factors in any kind of organization. Job enrichment. Horsburgh attached greater importance to job enrichment in his two factor theory. Job enrichment implies enriching the content of job or the deliberate upgrading of responsibility, scope, and challenge in the work. Job enrichment is a motivational technique which emphasizes the needs for challenging and interesting work. It suggests that jobs are redesigned so that intrinsic satisfaction is derived from doing the job. It is the best application. It leads a vertical enhanced job by adding function from other organization levels so as to contain more variety and challenge and offering autonomy and pride to the employees. And these two words, autonomy and pride, is important for any kind of person or any kind of individual in their personal life as well. So some of the principle which makes a job enrichment effective: give the workers the freedom of operation. Am I audible? Or is there too much background sound? Okay, am I audible clearly or not? Okay. Give the workers the freedom of operation and responsibility. Managers should have better understanding of what workers really want. They wish that their managers feel concerned about the welfare. Workers should be consulted and given the chance to offer their suggestion. Introduce new and more difficult tasks at each step, giving workers an opportunity to learn and specialize. Means providing them opportunity or giving them a platform to perform. Advancement of job enrichment. It makes the work interesting. It decreases the rate of absenteeism and labor turnover. It makes for task reinforcement and increase the skills of workers. Workers get higher job satisfaction. What are the limitations? Technology may not permit the enrichment of all jobs. With specialized machinery, it may not be possible to make job very meaningful. Jobs of high skilled professional employees contain many challenges element, but they are not necessarily that much efficient. All those who prefer job enrichment may not have the requisite capability to meet the new challenge. Means not every person can face the challenge or complete it. Types of motivation. Types of motivation. Positive motivation and negative motivation. Positive motivation means when we encourage, when we use encouraging words for someone, being a manager, you using encouraging words for your employee so that they can work effectively and efficiently to perform a task. So these are known as positive motivation. Words like you're giving credits to them, okay, like well done, you are appreciating that person, so that is known as positive motivation. What is a negative motivation? It means when you use words like you can't do this thing, you won't perform well, and suddenly it will hit that person and they are motivated to challenge you, they take it as a challenge, so that thing is known as negative motivation. That thing is known as negative motivation. And the fear of punishment as well. If they are not completing a task, if an employee is not completing a task and you say if you won't complete this task, then you will lose your job, so it will perform a negative, it will perform a negative motivation in their life, and they will work with more effectiveness. So that is positive or negative motivation. Financial motivation and incentives. Okay, before financial and non financial, let's read about extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Wait, we have two financial, non financial. Hey, wait a minute. Okay, before moving to the financial and non financial, just know about extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. These are the general type of motivation. First one is extrinsic and second one is intrinsic. Intrinsic means the internal motivation. The motivation comes from within, and the extrinsic is the external motivation. When you get motivated for the external things, for the external things. Suppose for a competition, okay, for a competition, the price of that competition is 1 crore or 1 million rupees or 1 million bucks. So that is known as an extrinsic motivation, because you are motivated to achieve that prize, to achieve that prize, to the maternal or materialistic, for the materialistic world. But if you are internally motivated, if you are internally motivated, then the external things or the outside environment will not affect you. If you are motivated, if you are motivated for the recognition, if you are motivated for the fame, if you are motivated for the fame, for the status, then that thing is known as intrinsic motivation. These are not external. Anything or that is related to the world, okay, which is materialistic, and you are getting motivated with those things, so that thing is known as extrinsic motivation. I hope the difference is clear. Coming to the last motivation, financial or non-financial motivation. Money plays an important role in motivation. Management generally make use of financial incentives like wages and salaries, bonus, retirement, benefits, insurance, medical reimbursement, etc. If being an employee, you are getting motivated for these wages, salaries, bonuses, incentives, or medical insurance and other stuff, then that is known as financial motivation. That is known as financial motivation. And non-financial motivation or incentives is like competition, or if you want to upgrade your status, if you want a promotion, then that thing is known as non-financial motivation. Competition is a non-financial motivation. If you want, if two team members are competing with each other and you want to run this race, then this is intrinsic motivation as well as non-financial motivation. Praise or appreciation of work done, knowledge of the result, workers' participation in management, suggestion system, and the opportunity of growth. Opportunity of growth. If you are getting motivated for all of these things, then that is considered under the non-financial motivation. Here, the topic motivation completes. So this unit is leadership. Again, an important topic. Leadership may be defined as a process of influencing group activities toward the achievement of certain goals. Thus, the leader is a person in a group who is capable of influencing the group to work willingly. He guides and directs other people and provides purpose and direction to their efforts. The leader is a part of group that he or she leads, but he or she is distinct from the rest of the group. Managers. Generally, managers have to guide and lead their subordinates toward the achievement of group goal, towards the achievement of group goals. Therefore, a manager can be more effective if he or she is a good leader. He doesn't depend on his positional power or formal authority to secure group performance but exercise leadership influence for the purpose. Leadership is a quality not everyone have. The characteristics of managerial leadership is it is a continuous process whereby the manager influences, guides, and directs the behavior of his subordinates. The manager leader is able to influence his subordinate behavior at work due to the quality of his own behavior as a leader. The purpose of managerial leadership is to get willing cooperation of the work group in the achievement of specific goals. The success of manager as a leader depends on the acceptance of his leadership by his subordinates. Managerial leadership requires that while group goals are pursued, individual goals are achieved. Importance of managerial leadership. Achievement of organizational goals is the importance of managerial leadership. Formal authority of managers to establish a harmonious relation between the team member is the importance feature of leadership. For effective and efficient work done in an organization, leadership is necessary. For smooth running towards the goal or the group goal, leadership is required. Theories of leadership, trait theory, trait theory, and behavior theory. This is the earliest theory based on the distinction between the personal qualities or trait of successful leaders. The theory suggests a list of personality traits or characteristics which must be present in a person for a success as a leader. Means the traits a person must carry within self to become a successful leader. According to this theory, leader must be physically strong and well built. Leader must be intelligent, honest, and mentally mature, or should have a decision making power or skill. He must have initiative, self confidence, ability to take decision, and other things. Since all individuals didn't have these qualities, only those who had them would be considered potential leader. According to this theory, if a person doesn't carry all these words or all these traits in their self, then they are not leaders or the potential leaders at least. So the limitations of these theories are the trait theory is not accepted as a valid theory. There is no universal agreed list of traits associated with successful leaders. It is difficult to measure the traits, and therefore, it is not always possible to distinguish between leaders and the followers. Now, coming to the theory. Behavioral theory. The behavioral theories of leadership are based on beliefs that leader can be identified by references to their behavior in relation to the followers. In other words, it is suggested that leadership can be described in terms of what leaders do rather than what they are. Behavioral theories have been presented mostly on the basis of research studies. Mostly on the basis of research studies. Leaders who treat their subordinate as human beings are concerned about their well being and encourage and involve them in goal setting are more effective. According to the behavioral theories, leaders who treat their subordinate as human being and their well-being encourage and involve them in goal setting are more effective. They are described as employee-centered leaders. They are described as employee-centered leaders. On the other hand, leaders who are production-centered emphasis on the job performance in conformity with prescribed standards means he or she knows how to get work done. He exercises control over the employees as if they were tools of production. Such leadership is associated with unsatisfactory work performance due to the low morale of the employees. We have a chart for the same. You can see it from here. The consideration and the initiating structure. A person have high consideration and low structure here. Here, low structure and low consideration because it is the low consideration and a low structure as well. This section belongs to high structure and high consideration. High structure and high consideration. And this section belongs to high structure and low consideration. High structure and low consideration. Situational theories. Situational theories are based on the situation, how a leader operates in specific situations. According to leadership contingency model developed by Fred E. Fielder, Fred E. Fedler, the leader's effectiveness depends on three situation factors. First is leader followers relation, that is degree of followers trust, confidence and respect of leader. Second is the extent to which the task performed by subordinate is routine or non-routine. And the third one is the position power of the leader, that is the power associated with the rank and the position of the leader, in an organization. Straight coming to the leadership style. Coming to the leadership styles. Autocratic and authoritative style. Autocratic leaders centralize power and decision making in their self, means they just command their subordinates and exercise complete control over subordinates. In this style, subordinates are compelled to follow the others and leader under the threat of penalties. Threat of penalties. Authoritative. And the authoritative style, it is also known as the authoritative style. Limitations. It results in low morale due to inner dissatisfaction of employees, because employees are not given any kind of opportunity here. They just need to follow the commands of their leader. Efficiency of production goes down in long run because it demotivates the employee. It doesn't permit development of future managers from among capable subordinates, because they other than the employee factor, their other factors are not being nourished by the manager, so they can't be future manager. Democratic and participative style. Democratic or participative style. The democratic style is known as participative style. In this means here the leader have the rights and authorities, but he or she also allows their employees to contribute in any kind of task, activities, decision making. They take suggestions from the employees as well. This is what a democratic style means. It helps subordinate to develop their potential abilities and assume greater responsibility. It provides job satisfaction and improves the morale of employee, because a platform opportunity is given here to the employees. They can nourish their other factors than being an employee. Group performance can be sustained at a high level due to satisfied and cohesive nature of the group. Where this democratic style cannot be regarded as the best style under some circumstances, where decision taken through the consultation may cause delay and require compromise to meet different viewpoints, because every person have their own viewpoint, and sometimes you may think that the employee is saying is reasonable, it is correct, and you take the decision according to them, and it will not go so well. It may or it may not. A few vocal individuals may dominate the decision making power or the decision making process. In employees as well, you will have some introvert or some extrovert. Only extrovert will take part in the decision making process. So, where this democratic style is suitable, when subordinates are competent and experienced, the leader prefers participative decision making process. Rewards and involvement are used as the primary means of motivation and control. The third one, laissez-faire leadership style. Here, here the leader doesn't take or do not take any kind of responsibility of work. He or she just distribute the work and won't ask the employees about it again. So the best type of leadership is democratic style. Democratic style is the best type of leadership style. Laissez-faire leadership style is just the opposite of autocratic style. A manager who adopts this style is completely gives up his leadership roles. Means that leader will not take any kind of responsibility here. So it is not suitable, or it is not a good kind of leadership style. Not so good, but till some extent it is good. The role of any leader is absent here. The group members enjoy full freedom as regard goal setting and acting on it. Hence, there is a chaos and mismanagement of group goals. However, laissez-faire leadership is found to be quite suitable where the subordinates are well trained, competent, and leader manager is able to fully delegate the power of decision making and action to subordinates. So, this is the diagrammatic representation of leadership style. You can see this is the autocratic style. These are the employees, and here in the middle we have a leader, and the leader is telling each and every employee what to do. Leader is telling or commanding each and every employee. Here it is a two-way process. In laissez-faire it is a two-way process. Actually, this is the democratic style and this is the laissez-faire. This is the laissez-faire and this is the democratic style. Here they both have an open conversation, employees or leader. And here we have in laissez-faire we do not have any kind of relation with the leader. Functions of leadership. First is to develop teamwork, to act as representative of the work group, to act as a counselor of people at work, to act as a counselor of your team members or your employees. Time management. You give time to each and every employee to accomplish a particular task. So you can report to your seniors on time. Proper use of power. Secure effectiveness of group effort. Leadership effectiveness. This is the concern of people, and on x-axis we have concern of production. And we have these four sections. This section is known as country club because it have high concern for people and low concern for production. This is called as a team because it have high concern for people as well as high concern for production. Here it is known as a task because it have high concern for production but low concern for people, and it is impoverished. It is known as low concern for people and low concern for production as well. These are some styles of managerial grid. It is from 1964. This concept of managerial grid was developed by Blake and Morton in 1964. Factors influencing leadership effectiveness. The expectations and behavior of his superiors, the leader's own personality, past experiences, and expectations will affect the leadership. The subordinates' characteristics, expectations, and behavior will also affect the effectiveness of leadership. The requirement of tasks to be performed by subordinates will affect the leadership. expectations and behavior of fellow managers or peers, qualities of an effective leader. What qualities a leader have in their self? Mental and physical health. A leader must be mentally or physically strong. Empathy, not sympathy, but empathy is required. A leader must have the capacity to appreciate others and look at things from the subordinates angle as well. Self confidence is must in a leader. If he or she will not feel self confident, will not show self confidence, then how the employees will do work under their guidance? Awareness of others' opinion about himself, knowledge and intelligence. That person or the leader must have knowledge of their work. Decisiveness means decision making skills must be here. Ability to communicate, good communication skills means the leader should have a good communication skills so that he or she can convince their employees to work according to their sense of purpose and responsibility, and some other qualities like judgment, tact, courtesy, integrity, encouragement, motivational speeches, and etc. The last topic is team building. Team building. What a team is. A team may be defined as a group of two or more people who interact and influence the members for the achievement of common goal. For the achievement of common goal. If person two or three or more than two person shares a common goal, then they are in a team. Characteristics of teams, it is a group of two or more person is known as team. Regular interaction among members, there must be a regular interaction among members. Influence the behavior of team members, dependent on each other, mutually accountable, interdependent, social entity, they have their social own social entity. Achievement of common goal, working towards the achievement of common goal. Types of team. Types of team. Formal teams or groups are created deliberately by managers carrying out specific tasks to help the organization achieve its goal. The most prevalent type of formal groups is the command team, which includes a manager and all employees who report to that manager. In some organization that want to de-emphasize hierarchy, the title may change. The title may change. So we have a formal team, and if we have a formal team, then we must have an informal team as well. Here it is. Informal teams or groups emerge whenever people come together and interact regularly. Such groups develop with the formal organizational structures. Member of informal team tends to subordinate some of their individual needs to those of teams as a whole. In return, the team supports and protects them. The activities of informal teams may further interest of the organization, like Saturday morning games, for example, may strengthen the players' ties to each other. A woman group may meet to discuss various actions that can make the organization a better place for women to work. Team development. How do we form a team or develop a team? First one is forming a team. This is the first stage, team development. In this stage, the members try to explore and understand the behavior of other team members. Other team members. Then this do storming. Members start competing for status, leadership, and control in the group. Individuals understand other behavior and assert their role in their group. As a result, interpersonal conflicts start from here. We did storming, now we'll normalize the thing in norming. The member starts moving in a cohesive manner, brotherhood manner. They establish a balance among various conflicting forces. They will resolve their conflicts here. Then they will perform. Then they will perform. The team makes effort for the performance of the task and accomplishment of the objectives. And at last, adjourning. If we had made a team for a particular task, so after the accomplishment of task we will adjourn that team. As you must be aware of that, the team is formed for some purpose. When this purpose is fulfilled, the team may be adjourned. This is the breaking up of team. Team building. Team building refers to shaping of team for smooth functioning. Stephen and Mary Ann Vaughan have defined team building as a formal intervention directed toward improving the development and functioning of work team. Thus, the process of team building aims to enhancing the effectiveness of team. Parek Uday has suggested some following approach for team building. These are the approaches for team building. The Johari window approach. Johari window approach. So this approach aims at helping members to express their feelings, opinions, reactions, and accept feedback from the team members. This enhances their sensitivity toward the team member. The role negotiative approach. This approach focuses on understanding the expectations of team member and accommodating their behavior according to the expectations. This enhances a collaborative effort of team member. The behavioral modification approach. This approach focuses on examining members' behavior towards the team. The individual member evaluates his or her own behavior and finds out the most suitable behavior. Now he or she will adopt the most suitable behavior for the performance of the team. Means here the team member means individual will self evaluate their behavior and will try to make a change and adopt a suitable behavior for the team. The action research approach. In this approach, the whole range of behavior is analyzed and evaluated. The researcher interacts with the team member and evaluates their behavior. The effort is made to find out most suitable behavior of the team members. Projection into future. The team member prepares common vision for the team. Several small teams may prepare their own vision, which may be further developed as a broader organization version. The team members may encouraged to make efforts towards realizing them. Means we are dividing the team in some small or several teams or small groups or small teams. So these are some approaches. And the last topic is team effectiveness. Team effectiveness. In an organization, you may find that some teams are very successful, work effectively and efficiently than others. The question arises here, what is team effectiveness? Stephen and Mary have defined the team effectiveness as the extent to which the team achieves the needs and objective of its member, and sustains itself over time. This means that the effective team has following parameters. First one, the degree the degree to which objective of the team are achieved, means the objectives of the team are achieved, the degree to which team achieves the need and well-being of its member, the ability of team to survive. So we have some elements for team effectiveness. Organizational and team environment. Like we should put a reward system in our team, communication, a good communication system, and physical space must be provided. Organizational environment must be appropriate according to the team members. Organizational structure must be good, and organizational leadership or the leader should have an important role in holding a team. A leader have an important role in holding a team. Team design, task characteristics, team size and team composition. Whenever you are designing the team, you need to cater these things, like what are the characteristics of the task, what size is needed for the task, and team composition, what kind of person you need in a team. Team process, it includes team development, team norms, team roles, and team cohesiveness. That's it. The block completed. I hope you understand it all. It was easy.
Yes, ma.
Okay. Now please turn on your cameras so we can take attendance. And remember that we will having a class on next Thursday and next Saturday respectively. And on next Thursday, we will be having a financial accounting class. Okay? We will be having a
Okay.
financial accounting class. And the
Okay.
next Saturday class of this subject, we will be having the last class of this subject on next Saturday.
All right.
Okay, ma. Thank you, ma.
Okay, and please let other student know about this thing.
All right.
All right. I have taken the attendance. You may turn off your cameras now.
Okay.
I'm concluding this class. Thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you, ma.
Okay. We'll meet you on Monday. All right. Bye bye.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Elicha, how far?
I'm
How are
fine.
you
How are
doing?
you? I'm good,
Fine,
and
fine.
you?
Fine. How was everything?
Everything is fine. Don't know that side.
Fine, fine.
Even though
Fine, fine.
I'm still struggling with the submission of my assignment.
Okay. But
Ah,
that assignment, wait for her to work on her.
I couldn't submit. I'm still
Oh,
having issues.
actually, all of us will never complete the assignment.
Oh, okay. But I think there was one who submitted.
I didn't think that.
I think it's Abraham.
Supposed to ask you.
No, like the information is giving me, it's still not helping with the problem I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anas, Mr.
Umar,
Anas.
it has been long, eh? He has been
Okay.
quiet so far.
Wallahi huwa. Okay, so have a nice day. Wish you the best.
Huh?
I say have a nice day.
All right. Have a nice day too.
Okay.
All right.